Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Across the Park instant match reaction. Everton 0, Wolves 1. Mills, well, we previewed ourselves through the week, and I spoke about football being a simple game and how it's about what happens in both boxes. And once again, that proves to be the case at Goodison today. For me, we should have been a goal or two in front at the break. We weren't. We were punished by a pretty basic side, but a side that came with a game plan and it paid off for them. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, we're 3 games in now, no goals scored, 5 conceded. Is it? Yeah, 5 conceded, 6 conceded. Rock bottom of the league. It's looking pretty bleak, isn't it?
It feels a little bit hopeless. I just want to say that we're recording this remotely, unfortunately, because the pair of us have got young children who decided to be young children at the game today, which required us to get straight home, unfortunately. So we decided to still do it. Judge, I've brought the trusted Magnus for this one. But yeah, I think you're right, and I thought you were right in the week when you said that. Both areas, football could be simple if you get those right, and Everton have once again this season gone into not getting certainly the attacking area correct. I think the bigger picture, which I'll probably focus on more tonight, and we'll go into more detail on Monday when we talk about the show, because I was sitting in the family enclosure literally next to the Wolves dugout and the Everton dugout, so I want to expand on a few things on Monday of how I thought Everton set up and what they did in game. But yeah, look, if you go into the season and you're not armed to beat Fulham and you're not armed to beat Wolves at home, and they're first 3 games, then you can't really point the blame anywhere other than the people who are meant to arm you up and give the manager the tools. Does the manager make mistakes? Did he even make mistakes at times today? Of course he does, but what manager doesn't? I think the bigger picture for me, judges, we've gone into now. Look, the Villa one, when I seen Villa away, good side. I don't really expect us to go and get, it's a bonus point if you get a point at Villa. But certainly, so I thought Fulham and Wolves, you're probably looking at minimum 4 points for me. Yeah. And we're ending this with 0. And for me, going back to your original point, in one of our boxes, forget Michael Keane. Michael Keane didn't play today; he came on. So forget the defensive errors. We are not scoring goals. Not even. We're not creating chances. We're not scoring goals, and that's killing us.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Jumas has another one-on-one today, hasn't he? After about 15, 20 minutes, and he just looked like he just didn't look like a centre forward. Did he look like a forward who isn't accustomed with taking his chances, maybe suffering from a lack of confidence? He hasn't had the best couple of seasons. It was at, Tottenham and didn't really get a chance. Prior to that was up and down at Villarreal, but I think that the main point being we haven't got a centre forward there who can take them chances. Going back to the manager briefly, again, I don't think there was anything wrong with the team he put out. It was the right team that he selected. Again, he made the brave call for him of taking Michael Keane out, and I thought in the main, Jared Brantwaite performed really well. I thought he was really comfortable back there. I thought he gave us a lot more in possession. And obviously Dan Jumas coming from the start as well. And I thought Lewis Dobbins done okay, but he just looked like the player that we knew he was before the season started. He's got a lot of pace. He's very raw, but he's not a Premier League player, unfortunately. And he wants, he can't. He was lacking in those final areas, and again it was the final ball that he wasn't able to produce. But yeah, it's basically disappointing for the manager now, because he's really lacking options. I mean, what stuck out to me when it was 15 minutes left, both teams, it almost become a little bit of a basketball game, but they were able to call on 2, 3, 4 players off the bench.
Attacking players.
Attacking players and players that were if not seasoned Premier League players, they were pros, and they were players you could give them another dimension, and we couldn't do that. I mean, when you go 1-0 down and you're having to bring Michael Keane off the bench to put up front, it literally just that sums it up, doesn't it?
So you've got Youssef Chimiti, who by all means I thought did okay when he came on, but we've been told by the manager he's not ready. So if he's not ready, you've got to trust that at face value. So okay, you're putting a striker on who's not ready to try and win a football game for Everton. You've then got Tom Cannon, who by Thursday will be at Preston. Let's make no bones about it. He's going to go and play in the Championship again. He hasn't got a future this season at the football club. You throw him on to get a goal, and you throw Michael Keane on to get a goal. It's just ridiculous. And to go into this game with those options, and I'm repeating myself, is criminal. And the manager, going back to what you said there, Judgy, the manager was almost 1-0 Everton already by his team. He got the crowd. We were there. We heard the roar that Jared Brandtberg got. We heard the roar Lewis Dobbin got. Everyone was happy when they seen the team sheet. He was almost 1-0 up already with the fans. The fans were singing. And I want to say, well, again, we might talk more about it. Amazing tribute to Michael Jones, 26 minutes in, and we nearly scored at the end of that 26 minutes. How fitting that would have been. And the crowd were with the team today. The crowd were with them. And we don't expect a free-flowing 3-0 performance in the first half. We expect to do what we did, maybe get 1 or 2 chances in the first half and be quite clever with the play, which is what we did. But I think going into the second half, Judge, I don't know about whether you'd disagree. I'm here for either. I don't think the manager dealt with what Wolves were doing to us. They came out different in the second half. They came out with a bit of a different plan. They came out with... It seemed... I don't know whether they changed formation on the face of it, but they certainly played different, and we just didn't deal with it. There was, for me, Judge, a number of warning signs before they even scored.
I thought there was a couple of warning signs towards the end of the first half, and I think that the midfield three, they got exposed at Villa. I thought they got exposed again today. Once again, I think Onana looks like he's playing at 50-60%. He looks to me like a player who doesn't want to get injured. He doesn't go into many challenges, really. He doesn't put himself about, doesn't compete enough. I said it in the week, doesn't make enough fouls for me, for a midfielder who's in that type of position. I thought Takore out of the three was by far the best. I thought second half, he really rolled his sleeves up and tried to take the team forwards. He was consistently running behind. But he became almost like an auxiliary number 9 as well, though, because there wasn't, we were lacking that. And even when Chamiti come on, you could see he was not used to the system. He wasn't used to necessarily the Premier League, so he was dropping in quite deep. But I thought that we really struggled in the second half in the middle of the pitch. They were bypassing us consistently whenever they come on. And I thought that the wide forwards that they played in the second half, they stayed particularly wide, and every time they won possession, they seem to have one of them free, and we're releasing them in them channels. And I think that's what the manager must have said. Maybe look, play on the outsides of those centre backs because they're not the quickest. You can trouble them, and yeah, I mean, I can't say the goal was coming, but we looked shaky whenever the ball did come.
I think our goal was coming, and it was only going to be one goal in today's game. I think Everton could have easily the Decore marginal offside that could have been won that Everton very, very easily. But I do think we'll probably get into it more when we've watched it back and thought about it more. I do think there was times for the manager to change it there, and then the changes at the end, it seemed like he panicked, and I've never really seen him panic other than Wolves away last season, second last game of the season. It's the only other time I've seen him panic. 3 games in, I've seen him panic today at the end, because maybe there's a realisation that, good God, this isn't working. I've got it wrong today. I've got a scattergun approach to it. But just to touch on the midfield there, I think 2 of the 3. Now, Decore, I thought, and I'll get pelters for this, I thought he was okay today. I don't think he was an issue. But the other 2, just a Ghana guy, Amadou Onana, they slow our play down. There's times when you watch the goalkeeper today, the goalkeeper's asking someone to come and get it from him. They're not coming to get it from him. And then when we do break, or we have a nice little move and it goes into either a Drissagana guy, he gets pickpocketed all the time because he's slow on the ball, or he goes backwards.
Yeah, he dribbles across the pitch and
slow. Or Onana just wants, it's like he's playing a possession game. He just wants a simple 1-2 with someone, and he doesn't do nothing with it. And that's what we're really missing. We're not just missing a centre forward who can score goals. We're someone in a central area who can say, give me the ball and I'll try and do something.
I don't know why. I still don't know why, because I think he looked particularly uncomfortable at times today as well. I don't know why James Garner hasn't been put in there. I really don't. Out of the players on the pitch, he's by far the best passer of the ball. He's by far the most creative, and he's struggling out on that right-hand side. And I actually think he's killing Patterson as well, because there was a few moments in the first half, Patterson put some really good balls into the box. There was one in particular that Danjuma volleyed wide, which he should have done better from. But he got into some decent areas, but he's having to really work hard to get on the overlap, because Garner's not really, getting himself into positions and creating the space for Patterson, and he's not linking up with him either. So that's not working anyway. So why not just put him inside? It's frustrating.
And you could see today those times that he did drift inside and Decore covered him, and we were much better with the play.
Yeah, it is frustrating now. But I mean, look, despite what you say about the man, and you're right, maybe there's he could have changed things, he could have tweaked the system, whatever. He's really lacking options there, though. You can tweak the system all you like, but the minute you move, for instance, give it that example, you move James Garner inside, who you put on the right then? It's like there's no one. He's so much lacking in options, and even you go back to the recruitment and the decision making maybe off the pitch. You've got Damari Gray who's been sitting there now for 3 weeks doing nothing. What was the point? Like, if we were going to sell him, we should have sold him 3 weeks ago and bought someone else.
Yeah,
That's
I agree.
sat there for 3 weeks and not even being an option. Today, Damari Gray on that right hand side was
he walks in. He walks in, and there's players across the Premier League now and across the world who are playing for teams now and helping their teams. There'll be somewhere else on Thursday. So I don't know why we can't do that.
Exactly. That's the frustrating thing for me. It's decisions that we've made, and it just baffles me because even having him on the bench there, and all right, there's the thing, he might get injured or whatever, and that maybe scuppers a move, but that's losing out on £10 million or whatever for a winger is not as valuable as the points we're losing at the moment.
Yeah, and look, every game we play now, and we'll talk more about this. We're recording on Bank Holiday Monday, so we'll go more in depth. But just to end it for me, Judgy, and I'll pass it over to you. I think the failures of the multiple transfer windows in the past, I think they're really starting to hurt us now. I think they have hurt us in the past. I think now I'm looking at that team and I'm going, I don't really see much of an identity. I'm seeing players playing where they shouldn't be. I'm looking at a bench that hasn't got any sort of option on it, and we're going into. I think there's a massive banana skin on Tuesday. I know you're going down to Doncaster. I think there's a massive banana skin there. Everton can't afford to get that one wrong. But Everton can't afford.
You got on TV, haven't you? They know it.
I know, but we can't afford. Now we're into 4 or 5 days. Let's not meet up next week and talk about a terrible transfer window. Let's end this transfer window well. And I don't know how much money Everton have or haven't got. But we're seemingly bidding for players. We've now got to be clever with the money. We've left it so late. But I think I think we're in a bit of trouble at the minute, and I think we can't afford to get the next few days wrong.
Yeah, I said it last week, and I'm going to tell you, I don't think today changed it for me. That team is not good enough to play in the Premier League. So if we don't bring in 2 or 3 players, I think that team goes down, and probably goes down pretty comfortably. I don't think we're going to get the chance to maybe save it on the last day or 2. I know it's only early and people are going, oh, come on, it's only 3 games, but it's not just 3 games. It's 2 seasons plus 3 games. We've been this bad for 2 and a bit seasons now. It's been a continuation of it. So, it is an instant match reaction. Apologies again that we haven't been able to record outside the ground. As Millsy said, our kids got the better of us today and made the decision they wanted to go home earlier. So, we'll, as Millsy said, we'll be recording on Bank Holiday Monday in the studio, and we'll catch you all then. Enjoy the rest of your Bank Holiday weekend. Up the toffees.